As the dust settled on Leon Edwards' incredible knockout win over Kamaru Usman at UFC 278, his fellow pros were out in force to laud the Englishman over the head kick that rocked the whole of MMA. People like Khamzat Chimaev and heavyweight king Francis Ngannou were on hand to give their thoughts on what went down. Today, we're discussing how the pros reacted to Leon Edwards' superb win over Usman. Stay tuned. Let's jump straight in then. What was the reaction like? Well, MMA stars all over the land wasted no time in congratulating their new welterweight champion, with Russian-born Swedish fighter Khamzat Chimaev leading the well wishes, but also warning the new champ that he would be seeing him soon. Although, we're not too sure it would be as soon as Chimaev thinks, considering the fact that there will be more than likely a trilogy fight before those two advance. There was also usual nonsense from Conor McGregor too, with not many people understanding his tweet after he wrote, "Usman gonna come out saying he's from Pluto after that smack. Haha, Marty Green Pants from Pluto." If anyone can decipher that one, let us know in the comments below. McGregor also referenced the fact that he shares a management company with Edwards, later posting another tweet which read, "Just like that, baby. What a game. Huge congrats, Paradigm Sports and Leon Edwards. Another champion." And he wasn't done there. The Irishman later posted a tweet appearing to simply laugh at what had happened. A bit too much proper number 12 for the notorious, possibly. Current featherweight contender Bryce Mitchell, himself a regular contributor of nonsense on Twitter, simply tweeted, "Holy expletive." You guys can probably figure out yourselves what the expletive might have been, and lightweight legend and former champion Rafael dos Anjos simply tweeted, "This is an effing crazy sport." And he's not wrong. Whose message were you most surprised by? What did Usman himself have to say then? Stay tuned to find out. After the fight, Kamaru Usman was relatively gracious in defeat, especially considering some of the antics we've seen from UFC fighters in the past after being beaten. The former champ was quick to address the knockout, taking to Twitter shortly after the fight to explain that sometimes champs F up. And of course, he's right. There's plenty of evidence of champions being beaten in the past, then winning back their titles in the next fight. Usman's close friend, Cameroonian heavyweight king Francis Ngannou, also chimed in explaining how MMA is unpredictable. And he would know all about that after being involved in one of the worst heavyweight fights of all time with Derek Lewis, when everyone in the MMA world had predicted someone would be going to sleep. Another former champ was on hand to give his take, with Chris Weidman simply posting, "Oh my," before throwing up a UFC 278 hashtag. And Jamaica was given its second champion after Aljamain Sterling, who was born to Jamaican parents in New York, which he brought up in his tweet saying, "Usman seconds away from retaining the belt and an insane head kick KO from Leon Edwards." Wow, Jamaica has another UFC champion. I smell a trilogy, whilst also including a Jamaican flag emoji. Dustin Poirier was a lot more reserved with his comments, simply tweeting MMA, which I'm sure we all agree with, right? What did you guys make of the reaction from the fighters? So, was there any more reaction? You bet your bottom dollar there was. Chael Sonnen went off in a slightly different direction to most, bizarrely claiming that Nate Diaz is new world champion. Had he been in the company of McGregor, perhaps? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, a former welterweight world title challenger himself, took the Chris Weidman approach, simply posting, "Oh my goodness," before former light heavy and heavyweight world champion and member of the Champ Club, DC, congratulated Leon on a championship high kick before proclaiming that the Englishman is now the man. And there was more love for how technical the head kick was, with Bilal Muhammad claiming that he felt it himself. TJ Dillashaw also went down the same route, congratulating the new champ while also christening the shot "The kick heard round the world." Women's strawweight Tatiana Suarez seemed as though she felt bad for Usman, claiming he won almost that entire fight, which is hard to argue against in fairness, whilst heavyweight contender Cyril Gane simply said "OMG" alongside a ton of shocked face emojis. Jake Paul, who pulled out of a fight recently because his opponent was too big, felt comfortable enough jumping on Usman while he was down, even though he's never fought a real boxer in his entire life, posting, "Let me fight Canelo," in reference to Usman's claims in the build-up to the fight that he would like a fight against the Mexican legend. What did you make of the comments? Din Thomas has given his thoughts on Jake Paul's take on Usman. Like many around the world of MMA, Din Thomas clearly believes Jake Paul should stay in his lane. Thomas, who mainly fought at lightweight during his time in the top promotion, questioned Paul's motives for attacking Usman, but also acknowledged that he has done a lot for combat sports, saying he's brought a lot of attention to combat sports and to the fighters, but a lot of times it's for the wrong reasons. Thomas himself, a BJJ black belt, went on to credit Paul for still paying fighters 50% even if his shows are canceled, but also said, "But the reality is, in terms of standing up for fighters, he's not standing up for fighters. When you go on there and you rip a guy like Usman, and then you're ripping legends like Luke Rockhold, dude, what are you doing?" And while Thomas's comments are probably fair, that's just who Jake Paul is. He's desperate for any sort of attention and pines for acceptance from UFC fighters. He's probably trying to get Rockhold and Usman's attention for one of them to possibly consider him for a fight somewhere down the line. What do you make of Thomas's comments? Next up, Leon has been discussing the potential trilogy fight. Stay with us. Considering how his title fight with Usman played out, the likelihood is that Edwards will be ordered to fight Usman once again. The Nigerian Nightmare was dominating the fight before Leon landed his beautifully placed head kick, and given how dominant he has been in the division up to this point, it's almost certain Dana White will order a third fight between the pair. And Leon Edwards seems more than happy to go again, appearing recently on the Jim Rome show saying, "I think Usman is deserving of the trilogy." Of course, there's not much dissent in this regard, and Edwards has suggested that the fight could go down in his native England. He went on to say, "I would love to have it back in the UK. Wembley would be good, the O2 would be good in London. I would love to give him the rematch. Run it back and let's settle the score." Leon has also made it clear that he has a score to settle with Jorge Masvidal, but we're not sure the Miami man is deserving of another title shot after being beaten twice by Usman and also by Colby Covington last time out, before his highly publicized attack on Colby outside a Miami restaurant, which Leon himself referenced, saying he needs to go out there and get some wins and make the fight make sense. That's a fight I think would be massive for the UFC, and to get my revenge on him, I cannot wait. What do you guys think of Leon's words? And finally, Kamaru has responded to people who have suggested he should have run the clock out. Stay tuned. Following Usman's loss against Edwards last week in a fight he was absolutely dominating, some sections of the MMA media and even some fighters have suggested that the former champ could maybe have shored up his defenses in the final round and simply coasted to victory. However, Kamaru has addressed those comments and given his reasons for not doing so, telling his detractors categorically, "That's not who I am." Of course, if you're not that way inclined, it could be difficult to simply go into coasting mode, with Usman going on to explain, "When I fight, there's a reason I'm pedal to the metal and I don't look at the clock. That's the way that I fight. I wanted to finish. It was just a beautiful technique, beautifully timed." And he's right. Leon set up the shot perfectly, and sometimes those things happen. Usman also spoke of how he had blocked all of his previous head kicks throughout the fight, but that one just got through. And speaking about the technique itself, the former champ said, "I'm almost in awe of how good it was, but it happens. Champions fall, and then they get back and show you why they're champions. Whatever happens next, we're sure he'll be back to his best." What do you guys think? As always, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to tune in again next time when we'll be discussing all sorts of other cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video, while also sharing it with any MMA heads you know of. Bye guys.